to you 50 years ago as a child, you were a lantana-covered patch, standing in the fields, lantana fields in those days, ताड़ जिसको बोलते हैं. I have seen you grow and mature, today bedecked with garlands of creepers and masses of wildflowers amid stately trees. You are a single beauty. Where the wild hares burrowed in the thickets, shaded walks now wind amid the grove. Songbirds gather to make heavenly music, and the symphony of all the world is here, to be seen and felt, even by the illiterate. I understood the language of the wild creatures and knew that it could be heard and understood by many, if only the ears could be opened to its song, if I knew that the art would grow amid this jungle, that its blossoms would grow out from every brush and pen. Nobody knows how the years will treat one, and so it was the road of life came to me in this grove. This wild jungle became my Sanskriti, flower of my life, fruit of my experience, a wild flower of the jungle, the happiness and inspiration of my mature years. This was my home, my haven, and my mother. Here I could hide from the harsh glare of the outside world. Here I could live with my wild brothers and sisters, whom nobody could hear, see, or understand, whom the world did not know existed or did not care. The cruelty of the world hurt me whenever I encountered it, and the loyalty, beauty, and the art of the forest world was my solace, and it would become my ceaseless song. I refused any longer to be moved aside from what I knew, what everyone despised, and in which I had seen a thing of great beauty. One day, walking along these hidden paths, always covered by trees, I saw the form of that song which I heard, and I knew that something priceless was before me. Perfect as a pearl in its unopened oyster shell, the art of the tribal world poured into my empty urn. I brought back this living water here to Sanskriti and began to make it into something the world could see. The perfect silences of this once secluded spot converged upon me, even as life crowded around me. But the pearl within its shell had arrived safe. Slowly the burden of my life started to become beautiful, and the widening worlds of my thought returned to truth. In that measureless and depthless cavern of time, from whence come and to which return our days, there I returned, making a path where no pathway existed. This pathway was Sanskriti, the string of my mind's violin. These paths which I see before me in this wood are those strings drawn from the furnace of a heavenly forge. Sanskriti turned slowly the diaphragm of this instrument, and in the hidden alcoves, echoes of the heavenly music came. Those who have been here will remember that unearthly music. Meanwhile, the forms which had dwelt previously unknown marched into life before me as if the sound became living, and form on form paraded across the painted walls, striking new forms issuing from the furnaces of the past. They clung to my senses and would not go away. In desperation, I made new spaces for them to live, Slowly they left my mind, yet clung about me, living streams of forms from the city to the jungle. They wandered in army through Sanskriti like ants. This is that diaphragm whence those forms were formed. And walking on these pathways, we feel their processions go with us. The cruel world wanders outside, but the protective shell echoes and re-echoes, and the windows of mind multiply until here in Sanskriti, every aspect speaks of eternity. Which eternity? That eternity of the present seen through the artist's hands and eyes, and the swift flowing river of the poetic mind. And out of nothing emerges everything. That supreme genius, true to the hand of God in all things. Tamam Shud. Blessed is this grove of trees covered with coiling paths, in whose heart the bird of love lays her eggs, and the nest is guarded by faith, this same early world to which the Titans came and paid obeisance, this same sacred grove from which the roots of culture grew, this same once forgotten flame at which genius worshipped, this same earth-centered spring from which the rivers of our culture came.